Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Why Not Me podcast. I am your host, Jerry Ruiz. With me today, we have a special tattoo artist. Not only does he do tattoos, but he also live streams doing them every once in a while. Give it up for Mike Lam.
What up, dude? It's an honor. I really appreciate it, fam.
Yeah, no
Thank you so
problem, bro.
much. Thank you so
Um,
much for having me here.
you want me to call you Mike or
Yeah,
Mean?
that's cool. Mike or Min,
Min? Oh, see, I
either
already
or.
pronounced. I'm gonna call you Mike so I don't mispronounce it again, bro.
I appreciate it, dude.
Cool.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. Officially, unofficially, man.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous of your background, to be honest.
Oh man, you know what? This really was a work in progress. To be honest with you, when I first had a background, I lived in an apartment, a different apartment than the one I live at now, and the background I used to have, like I adored. So, and then I moved here, and it's such a better place. But where where my desk is, this is the only spot it possibly can be in my apartment. So I only can face here unless I have the camera on the opposite side, and it doesn't make sense to. But this wall is a very interesting wall because it's all plaster and inside is metal beams. So there's no drywall. I can't actually hang anything, and I've tried hanging things on it, and you can't actually see it, but there's so many holes around this because all the things fell. They kind of like fell off one by one, unfortunately. So I was just thinking of ways on how I could pretty it up, and I saw people had nano leaves, and I got addicted. I got way too many. They're expensive.
Hell yeah, man.
Like, oh man, bad choice.
I'll eventually get some, maybe. Probably not. I don't know.
You know what? If you have the ability to create a background, you should. But yeah, I just recently discovered something. I was watching this streamer, and he had a very, very nice aesthetic behind him, and it was his room, but he green screens his room and adds effects.
Oh, okay, that's insane.
So he records his background, and then he saves that as a video file, and then he puts a green screen up, and plays his own background, but with added effects. Like he adds a whole pink hue to it. I'm like, man, that looks real, but not. It's like, yeah, dude, it's green screen. I'm like, oh man, makes sense. So if you have the background, use it. If you don't, I would use green screen.
So when you're watching the stream, you're like, hey, grab that thing in the back real quick. Cause not right now, man.
It's like, nah, I can't.
My hands are full.
It's not real. Well, I know. I know. It's pretty cool though.
So, let's talk more about you and not about other streamers for now. But that's what
Sure.
I like. That's what I like about the streaming community, though. Is everyone looks out for each other for the most part. Well, at least the real ones do.
Yeah, it's definitely a misconception, right? Because when you first come into streaming, if you're not aware of it, it has this like ideology that it's a dog eat dog world, but it's not. A person can have 20 tabs up at a time and watch as many streamers as they want, and not everybody's streaming simultaneously. But a lot of newer content creators have this like fear or are threatened and or intimidated by other streamers that are more saturated than them, or they just feel like they're going to lose their viewership. So I absolutely agree. Being able to support your fellow streamer or being able to support your content creator is it's huge.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you coming on here, man.
Oh, dude, my pleasure. My pleasure.
So, right here, I have your name, Mike Lam. I have Royal Ink under it. What is Royal Ink about?
Okay, so I'm a tattoo artist, and I own a tattoo parlor here in South Jersey. And when I first opened the tattoo parlor, me and my best friend were contemplating on the name, and we're thinking about something that has caliber. We're really trying to find something that speaks and that just sounds like it's money. And what I mean by that is the overall experience that we're trying to cater, which is like treating people as if they are kings and queens when we're referring to customer experience, right? So we're thinking about it, and we're thinking about like empire or dynasty, and we're just saying all these names back and forth. And but we had kind of a vision where it's like velvet red, like a really rustic vintage look, and it just hit us where it's like royalty. And it's funny because when we came up with the name, we were describing what we wanted the name to be. So we're like, man, I really want like something that captures royal. And it's like, yeah. You know, what could it be? And he's like, my friend's like, Royal Ink.
Yeah.
So then we came out with Royal Ink, and it's not our motto, but the reason why we came up with it is because we really want to cater to the quality of experience that we give to our customers on a more corporate level to distinguish us from like traditional tattoo parlors, because a lot of tattoo parlors you go in, it's very impersonal or a little bit too casual, right? It's like, yo, dude, what can I do for you? You know, instead of having this professionalism about it. So we wanted to give that feeling when you come in, you're being taken care of and your money is worth it.
Damn, and that was straight from the heart right there, guys. He has no script in front of him or nothing. Fire. So you have like clads of armor around there? You got staff?
So there actually was a point in time where we were thinking about maybe doing like a shield or some sort of like medieval armor, but it's way too much. And instead what we ended up doing was drapery. And we just kind of went with the color scheme where it's like a nice, like a royal red, or like a burgundy red.
Kind of like my shirt.
Yeah, pretty much. And with like gold highlights or trims throughout the shop. So we have like gold stanchions up front. We have a velvet rope that blocks off the lobby. We have ropes where we can tie up the draperies in the booths. They aren't like drywall booths. The booths are actually, it's an open concept, but they're separated with curtain, but like a burgundy curtain separating each booth. So it capitalized on a open concept design, because I like the idea of reinforcing a person's decision in getting a tattoo. And it's a lot easier to feel safer and more comfortable when you see other people around you getting tattoos as well. But it has like a kind of like a false sense of security in that if I close the curtain, it feels like an individual booth, and people kind of just tune. Exactly. Yeah. People will just kind of tune out the rest of the shop. So it's not really isolated, but it feels that way. So really it's just red drapery, gold highlights, gold rope, gold stanchion, and kind
of sounds like Iron Man vibes, huh?
yeah. Kind of like a gist of royalty, pretty much.
Will you guys hire me as a jester?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll host up interviews for jesters.
All right, for sure. Can't wait. Make the guy that just cleans up around the shop just wear the
comedy,
jester
dude.
Costume. Oh yeah.
Comedy.
So what services do you do there?
So we provide tattooing, piercing, and permanent cosmetology, such as, well, not like full service cosmetology. We do microblading.
What's microblading?
So microblading is like micro cuts into the eyebrows it's like tattooed eyebrows, but it's semi-permanent, not permanent like tattooing eyebrows. It's done with individual cuts and it looks more realistic.
Okay, that's pretty dope, man. How's that been like? Is that did you ever think you were going to be doing that?
What, tattooing?
No, the
microblading?
The microblading, yeah.
So we have a very innovative artist in our shop. Her name is Cami, and she is really good at coming up with proposals of avenues that we should introduce to the shop. So she actually brought it to me, and she said, hey, we should do microblading. And I was like, I don't know about that. We already have our hands full with tattooing and piercing. She's like, well, it's really easy. And she gives me the information. And I said, okay, well, if you come up with a nice package proposal to me and, pitch your case, I'm willing to listen. And she did. And it seemed very promising. And turns out it is. And now we do microblading, which is great. Not too many places do microblading that's affordable. It's usually like, it's usually more of like offices, less of tattoo parlors that do microblading. It's more like doctors' offices that do microblading. So having that opportunity, having her certified for it, it's a nice service to offer. Shows a little something different, because a lot of other tattoo parlors don't render that as a service.
And exactly, and that brings a certain customer to you too.
Hmm.
Um, what I thought of when you said microblading and tattooing eyebrows, like chemotherapy patients. You know how they lose hair. I was kind of
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's kind of what comes to my mind. But I'm assuming it's just a huge variety of different customers that do that or that want that.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't dealt with any clientele that like require like full heads of hair or anything in relations to like cancer patients. They do exist though, and there are like there is a demand for it. And if somebody is seeking that, whether it be replacements of like their like there's actually reconstructions of people's like nipples and there's tattoo artists who specialize in just that, as well as tattoo artists who specialize in just like making it look like follicles in the hair, almost like stubble.
Oh damn,
But I've seen that as well.
that's pretty dude. I never like that would have never even occurred to me that people would get that. But I mean that
Yeah.
makes sense though. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of the tattoos that I've seen behind that, they're tattoo artists that specialize in only that. And they're
Yeah.
so few and far between, but they do extremely well because they work um, side by side with hospitals.
Yeah.
Like as after somebody goes through like chemotherapy and whatnot, you know, they're devastated and it's just like, hey, wait, we know somebody who could kind of soften the blow of the whole tragedy
Yeah. No, I understand that,
and give
and
back it
that's
and
pretty
kind
cool,
of like
bro.
empower the person. Yeah, it's crazy. It looks so realistic.
Yeah, I was about
When
to
when
say.
you actually have an artist who specializes in it, it's amazing. It looks phenomenal. And I never thought it was a thing until
Yeah.
I got into tattooing. But yeah, so microblading or just piercing. Piercing we didn't offer all the time too, but microblading has been definitely rewarding.
Is piercings pretty not pretty easy, but is it simpler for you than tattooing, or was it a little
So
more difficult?
I
You don't
don't
do it?
personally pierce.
Yeah.
We have a piercer, and piercing is similar in the way of you achieve your certification. So you would have to work under somebody who's a certified piercer. And with that said, you would need to fulfill a certain amount of requirements as a piercer to then become a piercer yourself. So they go through a rigorous training just as a tattoo artist does. And you know what? She makes it seem extremely easy. I'll tell you that. Sometimes I think I went into the wrong career path. And she gets so much clients. She has a ridiculous amount of clientele in just piercing. She's actually like um, dual skilled there. She's both a piercer and a tattoo artist.
All right. Well, hey, that's awesome. Shout out for
Yeah,
is that
that's
Gammy?
Cammy.
Cammy.
Yeah,
All right. Well, shout out to Cammy for
yeah, she's
helping
cool
you guys
people. I'll
out
let
with
her know
that.
you said that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Um, how long have you had Royal Ink for?
So Royal Ink has been open for about 3 years now.
3 years?
So it's pretty new.
All
Mhm.
right. Yeah, that's new, but then it doesn't really feel like that's new. That seems like a good progress, bro. 3 years is
Oh
steady.
yeah, it really is, especially considering how we went about it. Like when opening up the business, we didn't take out any loans or anything like that. We just made sure everything was out of pocket so that there wouldn't be an opportunity to be overwhelmed or behind bills and whatnot. So everything is like clear, free and owned, which is nice. I was worried going into Royal Ink. It definitely was a huge concern of mine because before being a tattoo artist full time, I was a banker. And so I'm coming from this corporate ladder with a prestigious, nice job, benefits, um, and just diving into tattooing. I it really was a change of pace. I always tattooed kind of like leisurely here and there, but I never considered it full time. But when the opportunity presented itself, I grinded out the numbers. It made sense. Took a leap of faith, and 3 years later, we're one of the highest rated tattoo parlors in South Jersey. So I'm pretty. I didn't think I'd be here. I
Hey,
had no
bro.
idea.
I'll give you a round of applause. That's awesome. You got
I
following your
appreciate it, man.
dreams. What's kind of funny is I had another guest on here, Justin Hunt. He works in the hip hop community.
Okay.
Uh, and he was a banker as well. And then
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
and then so he was, I guess he wrote reviews for like a hip hop source, and then
Mhm.
I guess eventually he felt like he was to the point where he was at least equal or better than the things he was reading and like other people's and competitors stuff. So he's like, you know what, I
He
can make
dove
the
into it.
yeah. He's like, I think I can make the
Right.
full time jump, and he never looked back.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of like the same thing with me. I did it part time, and eventually I was being sought after
Whoops.
by other tattoo parlors,
Yeah.
and they ended up like reaching out to me and asking if.
All right, we're live, man. Sorry about that, everyone that was watching. Anyone that tunes in right now. Just to let you guys know, I had a little technical difficulties. Computer's been acting weird recently. I had to refix these squares, so if you see them a little crooked, oh well, my bad. But you were talking about your apprenticeship.
Yeah, You know what? I don't.
We can go ahead and so anyone
Remember the
that
exact
doesn't watch
context.
this live, it's gonna be a weird edit. It's gonna cut from him talking to this. So we're just gonna go to how long have you been doing tattoos?
So I've been tattooing about 10 years. I want to say about 10 years, all in all.
I don't know, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's a while. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. So since you were 19.
Yes, probably even like earlier, but let's just go with 10.
How did you start tattooing?
So that's an interesting thing. I had a friend whose parents owned a tattoo parlor, and they needed extra help with it. So they asked me if I would want to work the front desk, and I took it for like I think it was like $4 an hour. It's pretty young at the time. And I was just there for a while, and it was cool. I was fascinated by all of it. And I always doodled a little bit. I really enjoyed art growing up. So being submerged in that was really exciting. And over time, what eventually ended up happening is I started creating pieces by myself that I would imagine some of these clients would want, but they weren't recommended specifically. It was more like I hear that somebody wants X, Y, and Z, and the artist fulfills it. But I'm wondering, oh well, let me just draw it anyway. I'm at the front desk doing nothing. I
Yeah.
would just have them fill out paperwork. I do the paperwork, and I would just chill for the remainder. Maybe clean up here and there and help out.
So you were the jester.
So yeah, pretty much. And the artist eventually had saw that I was creating pieces. They would take a look, and eventually they started using it. And on top of that, they would ask me to prepare for them their stations, or if I could help them with cleaning when they became overwhelmed. And eventually, one of them just made a remark like he's practically an apprentice, and they offered me an opportunity to become an apprentice there. However, it was short lived because the tattoo parlor ended up closing. It was crazy how it even opened up to begin with. Before my friend's parent actually assumed control of that tattoo parlor, what ended up happening was a couple had owned it, but no longer could work there. Well, one could no longer work there because his wife, who was the co-owner, unfortunately committed suicide at the tattoo parlor.
Oh dang, dude. What the
So
heck is that? That's crazy.
the husband couldn't be there anymore.
Yeah. For personal reasons, right? Yeah.
He sold the tattoo parlor to his friend, which was my friend's parents, who then ended up asking if I wanted to work there. And just being around, helping out as much as I could, they eventually asked me to apprentice, which I did. And an apprenticeship is a story in itself. But it ended up closing down because they were unable to, I guess, pay the bills.
Yeah.
So I ended up working out of house part-time just for fun.
Yeah.
Since then, and I ended up just exploring the corporate ladder in several different companies and seeing what I could do with that. I didn't think that it was realistic for me to become a tattoo artist at that time, especially because the tattoo parlor closed down. So in my mind, tattoo artists didn't make money. So I needed something that was realistic and that was going to secure me financial freedom. So I ended up going into banking.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a pretty crazy story. I guess we're gonna go down memory lane a little bit today. You know, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you really think about it every once in a while, but today's the day. So well, I guess from from not even thinking you're gonna be tattooing to tattooing every day. I'm assuming.
Yeah, so I do tattoo every day besides Monday and Wednesdays, which are my day off
Wednesdays are your day
today.
off. Oh, dang, that
Mhm.
worked out perfectly.
Yep, yep, yep.
So what does a work day look like for you normally?
It really depends. I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad at time and punctuality.
At time, guys. At time.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at it. So, normally what's supposed to happen is I have a client at 12 o'clock and I have a client at 5 o'clock. I normally only allow myself 2 clients per day. So the store opens up at 11 o'clock, which is ideally where I'm supposed to be there, but it never really works out that way. Instead, I kind of wake up when I wake up and get there when I'm able to. And hopefully the client's not waiting. If they are, I have to reciprocate in some way, whether it's a discount or, just apologies, depending on how severe of lateness it was. But I'll tell you what, I am consistent at being tardy.
All right. Well, hey, that's good, bro. That-
Consistency. But what ends up happening after that is, I prep for the tattoo, we size up the tattoo, I place the stencil onto the person, we tattoo, and I stream the tattoo. And the idea is go up until 5 o'clock or however close I can with it, depending on the project. And then I have another tattoo at 5, and then afterwards we close at 8.
All right. Hey, that's a good schedule, bro. And you said
Mhm.
Wednesdays are your only day off, right?
Wednesdays and Monday.
Monday too. Well, that's not too bad, man.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
a lot of people like getting tattoos on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean that's usually when people have a day off.
Yeah, no,
If you work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, so typically my Wednesdays are the first days to book up.
all right. And how do you approach these customers normally?
What do you
Uh,
mean?
like when they walk in, are you like friendly to them, or you just kind of let them like go up to you and see what's up, or?
So we practice professionalism as great as I'm able to. So if a customer does come in, I try to make sure that we are from behind the counter, that we're greeting the person in person, right in front of them rather than like behind the counter. And try to greet them as warm as possible, try to find out what it is that they're interested in doing, and try to build up some rapport with them and hopefully be able to fit their needs.
All right. And then when you guys first started, how did you promote yourselves?
So I'm really pretty decent at networking, I guess. That was probably one of the greater factors to our success is how I've been able to network locally. And I'm just a very outgoing person. So it can be conversations at a local Dunkin' Donuts or a local convenience store. If I see people with tattoos, then I'll bring it up to them. If I see that you're a police officer, I'll have a conversation with them. Hey, I noticed you guys are officers. I wanted to reach out and let you guys know that I'm a tattoo artist, and we do offer first responder discounts if I see officers in the vicinity and it warrants a conversation. This is usually if maybe they're waiting for food, coffee, or whatever, and we're in the same area. If I'm able to, I will. I will market using obviously all social media platforms, all besides Twitter. I confide in Facebook heavily, more so than Twitter and Instagram. Instagram I do use and I do confide into that in some degree, but that's more of like a passive marketing,
Is
whereas Facebook
is
is
it to
more
show like
active.
your work, like to show
Yeah.
your pictures and all that? That makes sense too.
Yeah,
Uh,
Facebook is more of like a portfolio, whereas like I'm sorry, Instagram is more of like a portfolio, whereas Facebook is more of my outreach.
okay. And why don't you use Twitter if you don't mind me asking? Or
Twitter's just not a realistic thing for local. I don't have a big following when it comes to local presence. It's more of like people from all over. I find Twitter being a very broad platform where you can meet so many different kinds of people, and that it's more relevant to your guys' interests. Whether, let's say, if a person's interested in a specific game, more than likely it'll have people who are interested in that same game be able to reach out to you. So if it was tattooing, I'd be getting tattoo connoisseurs or artists from all over the world, whereas Facebook seems like it has an algorithm that really caters to who you're friends with and who you might know, that you and that person share mutually. So it really helps with like a local engagement and broadens your new acquisitions.
That makes sense. You can't tattoo people that are halfway across the state anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, eventually they might be in town and we'll get you, but
Right.
so I guess since that's when you first started, do you still advertise like that now, or since you said you're one of the more well-known, more best tattoo shops in town, that is it just easier? People just walk in now.
So, because of our efforts in marketing, when we first started, we're definitely like reaping the benefits of our hustle.
Hell yeah.
And now it's not as necessary that we market aggressively. But if I notice that it's slow and there's not as many people showing up, which there hasn't been, but if that would be the case, let's say I'm not getting appointments, but that hasn't happened since we've been open, but it's kind of a backup plan. If I sense that there's a lull, then I'll re-engage in the same manner when we first started, which is just hitting the pavement, going around, speaking to people who all have tattoos or whatever it is in person, maybe seeing some of my friends and just asking them some questions if they know anybody, little things like that. And a lot of times it's very easy to have these conversations like, hey guys, I'm thinking about doing a promotion or whatnot, or I'm trying to broaden my engagement with tattooing. A lot of times if you're just in an earshot of certain people, a lot of people are just attracted to that conversation just because you're talking about tattoos. So a lot of times I might speak loudly in public places about my business as a tattoo artist with a friend, maybe at like a Walmart or something like that. And a lot of times the person in earshot will come over. That's just one way. In addition to making sure that I'm doing social media, posting up all of my work, maybe doing a promotion. A lot of times, if I just lowered my price, I would have plenty more people if I need it. But I'm blessed to say it hasn't gotten to that.
Hell yeah, and I'm happy to hear that too, bro. Because I love seeing people succeed, man. That's the best
I
thing.
appreciate it.
It motivates me because it shows me that, hey, they can do it. I can do it.
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
I think it's pretty smart to have that backup plan in case, it's always good to expect the worst and hope for the best, even if that's not the case,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because that way you can game plan in case for some reason things turn bad.
Exactly. If things don't go according to plan, like for example, if I'm not successful as a tattoo artist, I have contingencies to go back into banking if I would like. I still maintain rapport with previous employers, or I have some people that I'm friends with that are still working in banking, little things like that. So it's definitely important to always have, in my opinion, contingency plan. But some people might argue that, and they say when you're planning for plan B, you're planning for plan A's failure.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but I don't agree either.
Yeah, so I just like, I get it, but I don't see that happening. However, I got a game plan.
Yeah, and when it comes to money too, it's kind of smart to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
exactly.
You don't know what's gonna happen to you. Like for example, over this pandemic, we weren't working.
Yeah, 2020 just has been crazy. You can't even predict that.
Of no one's fault. And we weren't working. So if I didn't have any game plans, or if I didn't secure myself to some degree, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, and your company too, man, and your partner. So I'm glad that that's not the case. Since I guess we're talking about days that you weren't working, what is one of the busiest days that you have had?
So typically our busiest days are Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Do you guys do the like the little tattoos for like $50 or something like that?
Yep. We do small tattoos for $31.
$31. Oh,
and
that's not bad.
we do anywhere around like maybe 100 It's like 200 tattoos during that day.
Damn, that's crazy.
But that's
bro.
probably our busiest day.
So any Friday the 13th or closer to Halloween.
Yep, any Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay. But so I'm assuming especially one that's in October then is gonna be an insane day.
Yeah, but we're not going to be participating this upcoming Friday the 13th because of Corona, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, that's too many people, right?
Yeah.
To be in the shop. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're looking out for your safety and the customer safety because that's something that's very important.
Yeah, agreed. Especially with businesses being shut down and local dilemmas unfolding, it's just not in our best interest to have that many people.
Um, how is it over there in New Jersey? Here in California, it's still strict, but is it kind of softened up a lot over there, or is it
So everything is
South
open
Jersey?
now.
Everything's
Yeah,
open?
South Jersey. Everything's open now. You just have to make sure that you wear a mask going into any establishment. Try to maintain social distancing, though. Some people are a little bit lax about it. Just do what you're able to do. Me personally, I just make sure that I don't find myself in positions where it's compromising myself or anybody else around me.
Oh yeah, man, that's dope. Anyone that's watching live, go ahead and put where you guys are located. It'd be pretty interesting to see where you guys are watching from. And I guess anyone on his live too, if you guys want to. I forgot that we have two different audiences right now. Do you remember your first tattoo that you did? If not, what's the earliest tattoo you
I don't
remember
know
doing?
if it was my first tattoo, but I remember like one of my first tattoos, and I did it all myself.
Oh,
Oh no! You know what? Yeah, I do remember my first tattoo. Yeah. So there's a method in tattooing called plucking, and plucking is a very primitive method. However, I wasn't really familiar with what plucking was at the time, so I did it incorrectly. So what plucking is you take a needle, not like a syringe, but an actual needle, like a pin or something like that, or a sewing needle, and you would dip it in ink, and preferably like India ink, and you would put the needle, like put it into your skin, and you pluck. So it's literally like if this was a pin, I would put it into the skin and pluck into the skin. So this was one of my first tattoos, and you can't see it, but let me see. So on my fingers, I have here we go. On my finger where the A is, if you look above the A, you'll see a line, one small little line, a little black line.
and something to the right of it too, right? Like where
Yep.
your thumb is? Yeah.
Exactly. So on this, I wrote my name. I plucked my name, MINH, going all the way down to the A, and that was my first tattoo, my name.
Yeah. And that makes sense
Was
on that
plucked.
hand too.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So instead of doing it with India ink and a sterile pin, a buddy of mine, he comes into school and I see he has tattoos all over his fingers, and I was like, "How'd you get that?" And he's an Asian kid, so I knew his parents were strict because I'm Asian as well. And so I'm badgering him like, how'd you get this done? Like, you got to show me.
Yeah.
And he's like, come over after school and I'll show you how to do it myself. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm coming.
This
Absolutely.
makes
So I
sense.
go over, and what he ends up doing is he takes a pen and he breaks the back of the pen and breaks the seal for the ink.
Yeah.
So it's pen ink, and he takes a sewing needle and he puts the sewing needle over top of a fire to sterilize it. So he holds it up over top of a fire, and I used that and the pen ink to tattoo my fingers initially. So it didn't stay, and eventually I did end up using India ink, and it stayed a little bit more, but that was my first tattoo.
All right, that's an awesome origin story right there. I'm sure too. You're like, dude, this is the most genius thing I've ever done.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was. I thought like I was about to be the most baddest A's of kids in school with a finger tattoo, and yeah. It was silly.
Did
It was silly.
anyone-
Eventually I ended up getting it covered up?
did anyone notice?
Did any?
Like any of your classmates or parents or any?
You know what? It faded so quick that it was just kind of like
a pin mark, maybe you would just keep seeing.
Yeah. Eventually, when I went over it with India ink, it stayed more, but like as you just saw, it was barely legible.
Well, that's a good thing, man.
I couldn't go deep enough. I couldn't go deep enough.
Yeah.
Like
Is that because your
it was
pain?
painful.
Okay, I was gonna say your pain tolerance wasn't as high, maybe. 'Cause you were
Yeah, it was
younger?
painful, like pushing a needle into your skin because unlike a tattoo machine that's moving very fast, like you're pushing the needle into your skin yourself and you're plucking it out. So I couldn't do it.
Hey, dude, I don't blame you. How old were you again?
During that time, I must have been maybe like 16.
All right, you're sick. Nah, I don't know. Nah, but that's something crazy. Not just like the physical aspect, but the mental aspect too, man. Just
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I just really like tattoos. I thought it was a cool thing.
what's your favorite tattoo that you've done?
So I constantly try to push the envelope on what I'm able to produce. And my latest and greatest tattoos always tend to be my most favorite. So it's always changing. I don't have like a favorite one that I've done years ago. It's always the most recent tattoo. Usually the larger projects. It's like it's not going to be a smaller project. But I try to make my most recent largest project my favorite tattoo if I can help it.
Oh yeah, that's a good response. So anyone that wants a tattoo, go ahead and go get one. It'll be his favorite tattoo. That way you can be in his heart right
This
there.
way I'm just more passionate about it, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I try to make like whatever it is, like for example, I'm working on a Venom right now. But I try to become infatuated with the piece and try to find what it is about the piece that I'm really enjoying technically. Maybe it's the tongue, maybe it's like the eyes, or maybe it's the hair. And I always try to tattoo better than I did last time. And I just keep that mentality, just do better than I did last time. And I mean, I feel like I have been, so it's been helping me. And as I see that progress, I like fall in love with that own piece for like my mechanical execution improving, even if it's just slightly. It's like, oh, this is the best. This is the best eyes that I've done. Like, oh, this is the best like scenery that I've done, and I become infatuated with it. And I'm always showing it off until I get onto the next large project, and that becomes my favorite piece. And it's just a revolving cycle.
Hey, that Venom sounds pretty dope, man.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot
I
of fun.
know.
I'm almost done. I'm not quite yet, but it's on the shoulder and it's in full color. And right now, currently, that's definitely something I've been geeking over.
So other than someone going to your shop and then them having their tattoo be your favorite tattoo, what other reasons are good to go to Royal Ink for? Like,
So one thing that really separates us from other tattoo parlors is by far the professionalism. You're going to be treated well. And also, we don't like to expose people to a like unprofessional atmosphere. So we're very critical about our sanitation as well as the conversations that go on in our parlor. Whereas other tattoo parlors, what I've noticed is they're very casual, very laid back, and conversations can go anywhere. And with that said, I think our biggest sales point is our professionalism. I mean, that and the work we produce. I'm pretty confident in our quality of tattoos. So
hell yeah.
like that's the most important thing beyond everything. When you're in a tattoo parlor, it's all about, well, how's the tattoos? I could have the best customer service in the world, but if the tattoo quality is terrible,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna come
No
to
one's
us.
gonna want to go.
You know?
Exactly.
So I mean, I guess that would be the most important thing, but second in line would be our professionalism or like our corporatism, I like to say. But we can get lax though. You know, if it's a regular, somebody who comes to us quite often, we loosen up. Like for example, I just had a guy, he's been coming to me for the last 2.5 years, once a month, faithfully. And I've come to know him really well, and he's a really good friend of ours. And every time he comes, we hang out, we have fun. It just really feels like we're just seeing a friend again, and we're just catching up. And I just so happen to be tattooing him, but it's not laborious. So beyond the professionalism, we really try to create a family atmosphere with people who have like such high contributions. And I mean, we'll read the room too. So if we're having an engagement with the client, and if you can read them well enough, or you can have good enough rapport and you have a feel for them, we'll get a little bit lax and lenient with it, make it casual. But ultimately, we always dial back to the professionalism when it comes to our work. Maybe the conversations might take a turn, but it always comes back to the professionalism in our work. And we're always pushing for the best possible impressions when it comes to new acquisitions. So if you come into the store for your first time, we always try to make sure that we cater to that person the best we can, because if that's their first impression there, we want to make sure it's their best impression there. But we also try to upkeep it as the engagement goes out, because we don't want to tattoo you once. Like, we want to be your tattoo parlor. We want to be like your family mechanic or your barber. We want to be the person that you talk about when it comes to any conversations with tattoos. Maybe it's your brother, mother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend. Maybe any of them want a tattoo. We want to leave such a vivid impression on you that whenever anybody anywhere talks about tattoos, we're the first place you think
that
about.
Springs to mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
so really try to impose that influence.
So since you said you guys keep it professional, you have regulars and you try to do a good first impression. Do you like it? I'm assuming you like it more than when people like to conversate with you and talk more, right? Or is there like
It's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. It really all depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
If I notice that the person is in a good conversation, then I'll keep it short. I'll try to let them speak, and I'll just ask open-ended questions and let them kind of navigate the conversation, especially if it's kind of like maybe somebody who's not as comfortable with conversation. Maybe I won't even conversate with them at all. Maybe I'll just, if I feel that it's going in a way where this person's not that comfortable with the conversation. Or another one is when people are experiencing too much trauma, physical trauma, then they might not be able to speak.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then what I normally do is as a backup, I will turn on a movie. I'll ask them, hey, what genre are you into? They're like, oh, I like action. I'm like, cool. I put on the action movie, and it's really cool because I've watched movies so much in my tattoo parlor that when it plays, it's like a radio, where I can comfortably tattoo, listen to the audio, but I'll know the plot of the movie.
Yeah. So you don't put your own streams on?
I do. I do put on my own streams, and this is kind of like an extreme scenario because typically people are engaged in conversation, and typically the conversations are pretty fluid. But if I find that, it's with somebody who's a little bit not as comfortable with conversating, then, I'll just handle it that way, make it easy on myself. But the way that my setup is I have this huge crane and boom arm with a microphone. It's like a portable studio. I got my microphone, my camera on it, USB hub, USB extenders, HDMI extenders, and everything. And I have a computer set up behind me, and on the monitor, I'll have the stream up. And it's really convenient because if the person's getting a tattoo on maybe their back of the forearm, on the leg, and they can't see it looking down at it right from where their person's is, they can look past me and they can look at the monitor and they can see their tattoo being made. And honestly, a lot of times they'll engage with the stream. They're always interested because like, oh, I'm being streamed. We're live. Like, oh, that's so cool. How many people are watching? What are they saying? They're saying it's cool, and they get really excited, even if it's just like minimal engagement in chat. Like maybe we just go live and they're already like, oh, how many people are in? I'm like, oh, we just started, dude.
Everyone likes being a star, bro. Yeah, it feels good.
So it's cool. So when they see that and they see the camera and they see the rig, and I'm the only person in New Jersey that's doing this. And when they see that, it's a very new experience for them. They're like, are you recording me? It's like, oh, I see the camera. Oh, is this going up on Facebook? They get really excited, and it's nice. It's a nice conversation, but it's a cool sales point because let's say, for example, you have a significant other that can't quite be there with you.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, well, you know what? If they're at work, if they can download the app, if they have access to their phone, go ahead and download Twitch, and you can actually watch you getting tattooed. And I'll relay the conversation, or you can pull up Twitch too, and you can see the conversation yourself.
Yeah.
You can talk to the person that you weren't able to bring with you, or if you wanted other friends to see, they can pop in. And a lot of times when I'm tattooing the person, a friend or two, their mom, brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend will pop in and they're watching like, oh, we love it. We love it. And they'll share it or they'll subscribe just because they're there. Just to try to like show just the extra support both to the client and myself. And it's really a wholesome experience because even if, let's say hypothetically, if viewer count was important,
Yeah.
even if the chat isn't engaging or if no one is there, it still offers like an alternative means to the experience that they haven't had before. And that's like, hey, well, the tattoo's on your back. Well, if you want to know my progress, go ahead, pull it up.
Yeah, exactly,
and they can actually watch their back, where in any other tattoo parlor, I'm on a chair or on my bed and we would have to stop and I would need to go to a mirror.
Yeah, or they wouldn't know the progress till they're done. And they're like, oh, what the
And I
heck is
zoom
this?
all the way in. I make sure that they can see it clear as day in 1080p. So it's not kind of like a skewed perception where you're looking at a mirror in front of you and you have a mirror that you're holding behind your back, because I promise you there's been plenty of people where I've seen their back tattoos. They're like, oh man, it's so cool. Yeah. I love that. I love that tattoo. And I'll see their back tattoos. I'm like, I don't think you've seen it.
Yeah.
Like, I think you've only seen it in the mirror. Like, this is terrible.
Self-denial helps build your confidence up too,
I
man.
know.
Yeah, once you pay for it, you're like, oh man. But
there's no bullshit when it comes to us,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's being streamed, it's being recorded. You can see it, your friends can see it, and I'm here. And it's just a lot of times when it's private, it's usually just you and the tattoo artist. And sometimes if it's not going quite your way or the tattoo's not really unfolding in the direction that you want, a lot of times it's kind of like, well, maybe it's you, or maybe like maybe there just wasn't a clear, concise communication or anything like that. But when you're on the stage like that and you're streaming, you're doing all these things, you can't make a mistake,
Yeah.
and they can call bullshit and other people can see it. So it really elevates myself. And again, adds to a very unique, wholesome experience.
Yeah, and it's not like you can like do a bad job because they're watching your progress as you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty cool that you stream and tattoo because, like you said, how many people are doing that? That's one thing that got me
It's a very small community.
Yeah, that's what got me interested in talking to you, because I wouldn't have even known about you if I didn't see you on the Twitch community.
Right.
Man. So
Right.
So it's obviously working, bro.
It's a really small community, and I'm a part of a team on Twitch.
How was it?
Called the Ink Squad.
Yeah, Ink
No, you're
Squad?
fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we're all tattoo artists, but it's like maybe 3 or 4 of us that are active.
Damn. So you guys and you guys don't live close to each other, do you?
Nah.
So you guys are technically like a tattoo shop, but virtually, like just
Yeah,
that's your guys'
yeah,
shop,
yeah.
the Ink Squad. So
The Ink Squad. Yeah.
how was it doing tattoos while streaming? Like when you first started, did it feel
Initially, it was so difficult. So difficult. It's still really difficult. Because initially, I didn't know the best way to approach it, because I wanted to make sure that I had the best possible angle. So trying to make it where I can mount this camera above me and still being able to connect to the computer. And I needed a computer strong enough to be able to stream and handle it all. So it was really like a balancing act. And I constantly had to kind of like wrap my head around things because, and I still do it sometimes today. Initially, my angles were so scuffed that a lot of times when I went to lean in to tattoo, like if the tattoo was here, I'd lean in and my head would be in the way.
Yeah.
Maybe the camera would be like back here or something, and I'd lean in, and now my head
just your
is
bald
in the way
spot.
of the tattoo, and it's just like, ah, man, it is terrible. So a lot of times, what ended up just happening was like a head stream, and so it really was a balancing act trying to find the right equipment, the right hardware, the right settings, the right transitions. Because let's say, for example, I have an hour apart between the next client. Do I do nothing? Do I stream? Do I not stream? Do I end the stream? Do I engage with the stream? I got to set up for the tattoo though. So streaming while tattooing is a huge balancing act. And I've definitely come a long way to when it's first started, but I'll tell you what, sometimes I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. However, like when it comes to the actual hardware and what I've invested, like I definitely feel comfortable with the investments that I've made in the hardware I have, but the actual video production and video quality, that's something where I'm constantly developing and constantly feel like I got to rework it. So it still has its ups and downs.
And technology always upgrades, so obviously you're gonna have to always upgrade on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. There's always something else that coming out.
do you have a pretty good following on Twitch?
I'd say so, but again, I don't like to look at numeric things. I don't like to look at viewership. I don't like to look at my followers. I don't want to be influenced by any of that.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I keep a very strong stance on that, because a lot of times people will gauge their worth or gauge their worthiness or their progress based off of numeric gains. And I'll even see some people in communities and Facebook communities say some things as crazy as like, oh, 10 people have unfollowed me, or oh God, I'm like 10 people away from X amount. And that's not important to me. Number one, all it takes is one person to be able to have such an impact or on you, or to be able to put you in a position that could really change so much. And not to mention, every person has their own unique offerings in some way, shape, or form. And you'll never know what kind of engagement or your rapport you'll have with anybody. So as far as like numerics, I mean, I don't really focus on that.
Okay. So I guess since good following is not really a technical term, since you said numbers don't matter, it sounds like you enjoy your community. You enjoy
Absolutely,
okay.
100%.
So I guess in a way, you do have a good following, but you were correct on the way I meant it, statistically. But you know what? Screw it. You love the people that watch your show. Shout out, shout out. I think they're live right now, right?
They are.
All right. Well, shout out to them. And same way for me, man. If no one watches this, I'm not really tripping. I'm having a good time meeting new people, learning about crazy stuff. Like this whole time's been an insane amount of time, bro. Like I learned about the microblading. I learned about nipple tattoos. I learned I learned that you can stream and tattoo, and like I never thought it, dude. I never thought that was like something that would even be possible. So
Yeah, dude. I remember when I first started streaming, like I would stream StarCraft, and I didn't start streaming to like become anything. I actually started streaming so that people in my clan were able to watch me, so that I could learn to become a better player. Because a lot of times I was struggling with in-game play, but I would have to show them the replay of the game. So I'd recap with them. Okay, let's watch a replay, and then we would have kind of what I should do, right? But then somebody proposed to me like, well, you should do Twitch so we can watch you live. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I download it, and they were actually able to watch me live while I play and make corrections on my gameplay live, which then helped me become a better player. For example, they would say things like, oh, don't forget X, Y, and Z. Oh, you should do this before that happens. And I was comfortable. We're talking one person, like two people tops in my stream ever. And I was totally okay with that, because the engagement that I had with those people were genuine and irreplaceable. So when it comes to like a quantity, that's great and all for people who are interested in that. But it's almost like when it comes to a comparison with money, or analogy with money. If you chase the money, you can never have enough. And there's always going to be that next amount that you're trying to hit, that next milestone. But when you're looking for like quality experience, it literally can be fulfilled in a day. And it's just like so heartwarming of a thing for me, because I did not know that, this would materialize in as much as it has. Like I've never thought I'd meet so many people who I learned so much from, mostly about myself, as well as, like you've mentioned, in this journey of other people. And the way that I look at it is, we don't have enough time in our lives to be able to experience so many different things that we would want to, right? Like, you can't, you can try. And if you're a grinder, you can definitely make it happen. But like trying to become a lawyer or doctor or vet and all these things, it's not realistic, right? But you definitely can achieve it if you put your mind to it. But in my case, it's so cool seeing and meeting other people, because you almost can kind of, if you're a very imaginative person, you almost can kind of experience different choices in certain situations, different career paths, um, different likes, cultures, tradition, just by meeting new people. So I might not be able to be an officer, or I might not be interested in being an officer. But when I sit down and have a client or somebody's in my chat who is an officer, like, it piques my interest. I'm like, oh, so what do you do? And all these questions that I've ever wondered as a kid, like what if, or, as I grow up, like, I wonder how that is for them. What benefits does it offer? How is the job? Do you like it? Do you like the late nights? What about the stressful situations? Or how do you overcome X, Y, and Z? What about everything going on in social media today? It's so nice to be able to, like, learn these things and just, like, absorb it, because essentially you're vicariously living through people. And I've always felt that way.
Are
And
you
being
like
a tattoo artist is
oh, sorry.
huge. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're fine.
Are you like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't go down that path. Yeah, I'm
You know
glad being a
what?
tattoo artist.
Instead of more like that, I'm more like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
That could have absolutely been me. And
Why
a lot
not
of
me?
times, right, a lot of times it's kind of like, well, what if I did? What if I didn't? And I could see how it's helping or affecting another walk of life, and that's living vicariously through that person. So, and tattooing goes hand in hand with this, because I meet so many people who come in my chair. I have people from lawyers, doctors, officers, drug dealers, anybody. Like, I meet anybody in my chair, and the kinds of tattoos that they
Hey,
get, you're really
do you
meeting a lot of people.
do you tattoo gangsters, like gang stuff on people?
So I won't do like gang related tattoos.
Okay.
But if somebody's in a gang and they want a tattoo, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I meant though, but like an actual like set or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I won't do like gang related tattoos.
Okay, that makes sense. And then at the same time too, like if you are a gangster, maybe get it done by your own set too, because like you I guess they earned it or something. But
Yeah, I don't know how that
yeah,
works.
I was
I
just
have no idea
curious
how that works.
because that's something.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's
Maybe they
something
got
I'm
a
sure you've
tattoo
seen.
artist that's in set.
Yeah, I guess so too. Are people like, I guess when you go to stream them, are they okay with you streaming them? Do you like have to write a consent form, or you're just like, hey, there's a camera here?
I've never had an issue with anybody not wanting me to stream. A lot of times people welcome it. They see the camera, you can't miss it. It's a huge rig. They see the computer in the background. A lot of people welcome it. I've never had like, I was like, oh, I prefer not to. But
Yeah.
if anybody did say that, I just wouldn't stream. And sometimes I don't stream depending on the piece. So if it's a small piece, it's going to be done in like 15, 20 minutes. I won't stream.
Yeah.
But if it's a larger piece that's going to take a couple hours and you can get some good screen time out of it, then I'll do that. But it really all depends. But I've never had an issue with clientele.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna ask you if there were certain instances where you would or wouldn't stream a tattoo, but now that you summed it up perfect right there. Um, do people go back? I'm assuming they go back and watch the streams too, right? Even if
Some people do. Yeah. Some people do. Like, for example, there was I had a client the other day whose husband wasn't able to show up for the tattoo, but really wanted to. So they were actually able to watch the tattoo at a later date on a previous VOD. So it was cool.
yeah, hell yeah. Well, that's how
they're excited about it.
yeah, that's how I kind of found out about like some of your work too. I would go back and I went to today I was gonna watch them as well. You were live, so I checked out your live stream,
I appreciate it.
and then I went and did a little research on some of your work, your tattoo work
Thanks,
as you're
dude.
doing. Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem,
Thank
man.
you.
And I guess one of the ones I watched. You know how you said you like people to feel comfortable and relaxed. I think they farted on the
Oh, yeah.
on the podcast, man.
Yeah, that's Mikey. That's Mikey. That's Mikey. Mikey is a funny guy. He is a funny guy. So Mikey doesn't have any control over his lower half of the body and suffers from multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
And
Sorry to hear about that, Mikey.
yeah, he almost always does that. He did that last stream too. As soon as we lift him and put him on the bed, he usually ends up passing gas in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure why. It just that always ends up happening. He tells us, sorry, I can't hold it in because I don't have any control over my lower half. I was like, dude, it's cool, but I am walking away.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, you can't hold it in, but I'm walking away. Wait for that to air out.
Does that happen more often than not? Not just with Mikey, but with like other customers?
Nah, I normally don't have that issue with anybody else. I mean, once in a while we'll have somebody who's not like hygienic.
Okay, I was gonna ask like body odor. Maybe they don't brush their teeth.
Once in a while that'll happen, but we really try to not bring that to attention.
Yeah,
and try to work.
I'm sure
but
most people are self-conscious and like,
you hope.
Yeah,
That's what you hope.
I'm be sitting with this guy for multiple hours. I'm not gonna, try to make his life miserable.
You hope.
But
you hope people would think like that, but you know what? You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's true, man. And sometimes too, they might not even notice themselves that
they might not. You're right.
It smells terrible. But I get that's crazy that you go ahead and stream everything, or mostly everything.
I try. I try.
I wonder if more businesses should adapt to that, or maybe they don't want
to
see the stuff working in the background.
I really would say that it is a huge hassle.
Yeah.
Not easy. And sometimes I wonder like how much more I would get done or be able to move through the tattoo if I wasn't streaming.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, it really is a lifestyle. You got to love it. This is something you got to be passionate about to want to explore it, because it ain't easy.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that this is good for you, man. You like to talk into the microphone and you like to be on camera. I think you're doing a pretty good job at it.
I don't mind it. I've had a lot of training, so it's easy for me. But there was a point in time, and there are still even some times where I find myself a little uncomfortable. But
I hope this isn't one of those times.
No, not at all. But I grew up doing like a lot of theater, and after doing theater, I did like local Broadways, and I became a contracted actor with an agency as well.
Oh,
so I've kind of like always been around behind the camera in like one way, shape, or form.
Okay, so yeah, you're not a shy guy.
Nah, not at all.
And then earlier you were speaking about like a good reason to go to you was the professionalism. Do you get like underage kids, I guess, maybe like 17, 16, trying to get a tattoo without consent?
So most of the time, if not all of the time, when it comes to minors, they will have their parent there, and we require that they have the right paperwork as well.
Yeah.
We haven't had, we normally don't ever have any issues with that. We had one issue once. There was one issue. One of my artists tattooed a minor because that minor made him believe that he was 18.
Okay.
Or that made him believe that he just turned 18. Today was his birthday. He doesn't have ID because he's going to go get it, but he just turned 18. But, he's in high school. I'm a senior. I just turned 18.
Yeah.
And my artist believed him. And he shouldn't have. There should be no belief system.
Yeah, no, exactly.
When it comes to like proper identification. But I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to actually police that. So my artist believed him and took his word for it. Eventually the mother turned around and pressed charges.
Oh man, that's terrible.
And when she pressed charges, I already refunded her by that point. I said, listen, what can I do to make this right? She says, I want my money back. I'm like, all right, fine. No, here you go. I am sorry for the inconvenience. And then she pressed charges anyway.
Yeah.
And after she pressed charges, when she was at court, I don't need to represent it. I didn't tattoo her. We're considered independent contractors. So even though I own the establishment, every artist fends for themselves.
Yeah. They
So
kind of rent a space there, right? Pretty much.
similar. It's
Okay.
similar. So he had to answer to the judge and about that, and the ramifications behind that was he had to issue a refund, not knowing that I already gave her a refund.
Yeah.
So she got double her money. And
was there anything happen in your shop or anything?
nah.
All right, so that's not too bad then. Whatever,
just two
that double
refunds.
fine. Yeah. What happened to the artist?
Nothing
Okay.
happening.
He's still
Yeah,
working
it's
with
not.
you guys?
No, actually, he went over to a different tattoo parlor. He wanted to move out of state, so he tried to find somewhere that he could tattoo at and move out of state at.
All right. Well, hopefully, that doesn't happen with him again. But
Yeah, hopefully not.
what are other reasons you would turn down doing a tattoo?
If a person is intoxicated, or if
And how what is intoxicated to you?
it's kind of like what you can handle.
Okay. So if they're pretty much out of it then, I guess.
Yeah. If they're like showing high signs of intoxication and they're just unmanageable, if they're belligerent and difficult to work with, at that point we reserve the we reserve the right to turn that away.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I don't know, maybe if they're like drinking while they're there, sometimes some people will do that, like in a very rare situation, but maybe they'll bring some wine or whatever, and it helps them deal with the pain better.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a small tattoo, no big deal. And if you're going to drink, that's fine as long as you have proper transportation, especially if it's somebody
I like that too at the end
it.
right there. That you make
Yeah.
sure that they have proper transportation.
Yeah, just making sure that they're set up for success if they're going to do that. And it's really just once in a blue moon we'll
Yeah.
have that. It's usually just somebody like, oh, it's a late night, it's a Friday, that's the end of the work week for them, and they want to get a tattoo. They know us, like, hey, you mind if I bring like a 6-pack?
Yeah. It's not like you have a bar there for everyone to make
Yeah,
themselves
no.
a drink. Yeah.
Just try to make them feel a little at home.
I would say, damn, bro, I'm about to go get a tattoo. What other other than that, like does it really thin your blood that bad where it would affect?
If a person is like highly intoxicated and has been intoxicated for some time, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
And then you start tattooing them, it's pretty difficult.
and they just bleed everywhere, right?
Yeah, and it's not like a squirting blood. It's just difficult enough to where like it's counterproductive.
Yeah,
Like it's very difficult to tattoo them because as I'm tattooing them, they're bleeding a lot and it pushes out the ink. So it's not working. Like I'm practically not tattooing them. I have to now work twice as hard to tattoo them. It's not worth it. At that point, it's kind of like, maybe another time.
yeah. Do you know if that works with marijuana too, or do you not have any idea?
It all really depends on like your heart rate, right? Like, so if a person is under the influence of any form and their heart rate elevates, then it's going to have them pump more blood, which is going to cause them to bleed more.
Okay, yeah.
So it depends on the individual,
Yeah, no,
Some
that's
people
pretty cool.
actually mellow out and kind of slow down after they're under the influence. So
Hey, you know what? I did not know that, dude. That's insane. So control your
the
breathing.
same goes with like caffeine too. Like if a person drinks a lot of coffee and their heart rate is like, or maybe they're doing a lot of like Red Bull
Yeah.
or Monster, then they're probably gonna bleed more.
So that's a good reason to pretty much just go sober, I guess. To
Yeah,
to a tattoo
yeah,
session.
or just not like go crazy.
Yeah. All right, dude. That's a good
Oh.
thing. What other reasons would you turn down a tattoo? You said the gang thing earlier, so that's one off the list.
If a person is like doing a cover up and it's just maybe they have like some scar tissue I'm not willing to work over, or if it's too difficult,
Yeah.
then I'll turn it down. Like I'm okay with saying no. If I can't do it, I can't do it.
That's good.
So if somebody's got like a perfusive like cut or wound of some sort, and want a tattoo cover up, and it's just too much. Like, I just like, I apologize. I'm not gonna be like best suited for this. I would recommend that maybe you try to research like a cover up artist or consider like laser.
Yeah.
I don't like to turn people away, but I'd rather turn someone away if I think I'm gonna do bad work.
Yeah, and neither of you are gonna be happy with the time spent
Yeah.
and the results. So why even
Yeah.
waste that? So
Yeah.
that's cool. What's the longest session you have done tattooing?
It's usually around 8 hours. I'd say on average, it's around 8 hours is when people usually, if you have high pain tolerance, around 8 hours is usually where a person's going to tap out. Typically, though, it's around three. It's around 3 to 4.
Okay.
That's on average. But once in a while, I'll have an outlier or somebody who just has really high pain tolerance who can last up to a full work day.
Yeah.
And great for them. And what ends up happening is usually there'll be some like physical signs of their bodies that are telltales. They're like, all right, it's time to wrap it up. They're shaking, or maybe they're pulling away from me involuntarily, or their body temperature has dropped significantly. These are telltale signs where I'm like, or I try to beat that, so I'm not pushing them to the extent of their threshold when it comes to pain tolerance. So usually I'll try to tell myself mentally, okay, it seems like this guy's got a high pain threshold. I'm going to try to make sure I finish A, B, and C, and then I'll wrap it up so that they don't hit their pain threshold, because it's very unpleasant.
Yeah, no, I bet, man.
Healing experience is rough too when you push somebody to the limit.
And then you trying to get the work done too, and having to fight, like, not fight them, but like having to.
Yeah. After a while, you're really kind of fighting the skin.
Yeah. So
it becomes a point in time where you're trying to race time to make sure that you can effectively tattoo them. Because after a certain time, well, considering that the body, this is a foreign substance that's going to the person's body, the body is going to try to reject it. It's going to try to react to fend off this foreign substance, whether it's like swelling up, sending white blood cells there. Then you'll see like excessive amounts of plasma. But it really is a test of time when you start tattooing somebody. As soon as you start tattooing somebody, there's like a mental clock, and everybody's different. Some people react very quickly. Some people not at all. Some people can handle it. Some people can't. Some it's more sensitive. Some swell up. Some become too red. Some bleed too much. Every single canvas is different in its own regard. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah. Now, I think my skin. I think people have trouble tattooing my skin. They say that the ink doesn't really want to go in, I guess.
You know what? It's really different from person to person without actually being the person to tattoo you. It's hard to say, because there are some artists who just aren't professionals. And there are some artists who have gone by on the seam of their pants and don't know how to tattoo on certain varieties of skin. So, for example, if the collagen is a little bit more dense, then you might have to slow down. You might have to readjust the configuration of your machine. You might have to assess everything mechanically first and make sure that, okay, I got to re-gear myself so that I can tattoo this skin specifically. I can't tattoo this skin like I tattooed the last client. And you have to make adjustments. But some people don't know that. And some people then jump immediately to that, like, it's your skin.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe.
It's almost a cop out. It's almost a cop out. Yeah. Sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah. But sometimes you'll actually have those incidences where people do just have a more difficult skin to work with. For example, I tattooed somebody who was much older, and their collagen was very brittle. And so as I tattoo them, just how I tattoo anybody else, I draw a line in them, and or I pull a line in them rather, and it's like their skin just like cut open, like a scalpel, like I just cut them with a knife. I'm like, oh my God, this guy has very brittle skin, and now you're just like, oh shoot, what did I do? And at that point, it's important that as a professional, or the person be a professional, right? Like, you got to know not to panic, and you got to kind of like assess the situation, and based off of your experience, you got to now see what you're going to do going forward. It's kind of like, okay, immediately it's like, all right, he has very brittle calogen. I need to dial this way down. I got to move a lot slower, and I can make the adjustments. Whereas some people might not do that. Some people just might chalk it up as like,
it is what it is. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's insane.
yeah,
Or they might be like, "Hey, bro, I think
crazy.
I might kill you."
Right? It's like, or maybe we got to stop, you
Yeah.
know? And it really is a humbling experience. And, you know, it's a shame that there's a lot of artists out there who aren't as educated on a lot of these incidences, because unfortunately it can really affect people in obviously a permanent
Yeah,
manner,
I was gonna say it's
whether
permanent, bro.
right, whether it be through like mild or severe infection, or maybe scarring, or just very poor art.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm and like most tattoo artists that are professional, we're very passionate about what we've done to arrive at where we are, and we pride ourselves in our knowledge. And sometimes it can be very disheartening when, like, especially in nowadays ages, where you could buy a tattoo machine off of Amazon.
Yeah.
You
And
know, it
just get
doesn't
to
mean it's
work.
good, but that's what some people are doing. So when we have conversations about that, it's kind of like we're very passionate about our craft, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and then too, not only does that affect the customer, like physically, but like they can never want another tattoo done again just because one person messed them
Right.
up. They're like, you know what?
Sometimes
It's not worth it.
sometimes I'll get like people who like suffer from like a mild form of PTSD when
Yeah.
it comes to tattooing. Like, I had a client the other day, and he was very standoffish, and it's almost like I had to prove myself to him as a tattoo artist, where it was just like, well, you know, can I see some of your work? And then he's asking all these questions, this, then that. Do you feel comfortable? He's like, I want this to be your best tattoo. I want you to really try. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you doing this to me right now? Like, why are
Yeah.
you treating me like this? And then he shows me his tattoos, and then he explains to me that he had a very unpleasant experience with his last tattoo artist. And he's like, the guy ended up overcharging him for what potentially could have only been a couple of $100, but he shows me, and he's like, "Oh, this has been like $600. I've
Yeah.
spent $600 on this." And I'm like, "Holy crap! I would have only charged like two."
Yeah, and done a better job.
Right?
Yeah.
That happens to some people, and he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, he's really upset about
Do you
that.
think
He's like, yeah, man, has been dicking me around and whatnot.
do some people flinch when they hear the needle of the tattoo gun? They're like, "Oh no, like here we go again."
Anxiety definitely gets up there when a person is actually in the chair and they see the setup, or me testing my machines, making sure everything's okay. I
Yeah.
definitely sometimes will hear like, "Oh boy, like it's about to get started."
Yeah.
You know, the anxiety, you can tell, hits a lot of people, but some people embrace it. Also, in today's technology, we've really advanced as a trade, and a lot of tattoo machines are very silent.
Oh,
And,
okay. I see. I kind of like the noise of the tattoo gun.
some
just going
people
off.
like it. Yeah, some people prefer the actual buzz of the machine rather than have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's silent. I actually enjoy that sound. And then you have other people where it's like, oh my god, I don't hear anything. Like their anxiety doesn't fluctuate at all, because like it's not as like intimidating.
Yeah.
People embrace that.
I don't know. Maybe the sound distracts me from the actual tattoo. I don't know if that's the case or
There's
not.
definitely like a rhythmic white noise about it.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
from your angle too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a rhythmic white noise where you're just like, it can almost be like hypnotizing sometimes,
What kind of-
especially like on longer sessions.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a long time, but there's been long sessions where people, myself included, and I know other artists this has happened to as well. And you just need to know when to tap out. It's time to stop. But some artists will like kind of push the envelope a little bit further, and they'll keep tattooing. And I've literally seen other artists while they're tattooing, like the sound starts lulling them to sleep, like
Yeah. That sounds
and
awesome.
they'll
To me.
they're nodding off while they're tattooing. They're going to sleep.
Yeah, dude, that'd be the best situation for me. I'd wake
No,
up and my
not
tattoo's
not
done.
the client, not the client. I mean the tattoo artist.
the artist. Oh,
The
damn.
artist.
Yeah, that's not just.
These are the tattoo artists. Like I've literally seen. I remember watching one of my not my artist. I was working at a different shop, and I remember watching this artist, and he was probably on like a 6-7 hour tattoo session, and then he was just like as he's tattooing, he's like, and he's like nodding off. I'm like, bro, and then he had to stop. Like, oh, let's take a break. Let's take a break.
What kind of what kind of music do you like, bro? I know it's kind of random, but
What kind of music do I like? I'm pretty open. I listen to I listen to a lot of different genres. Right now, you know what? I've been kind of on this like old head kick, and this is I don't know why. I guess maybe it's like I'm getting older,
yeah,
so I kind of like I've been lately confiding into like soft rock.
soft rock. Does that have
Yeah,
like a lot of snare, or is it just a guitar?
I mean, there's a lot of drums. There's a lot of drums in soft rock. Um,
I was just curious because you know how like when you're tattooing, it's just that steady noise just the whole time, just zzz, just
yeah.
I was wondering if like when you listen to music, it has a steady beat going, so that's what keeps you like entertained as well. I don't know.
I wouldn't say it's entertaining. I don't really notice the sound.
No.
I definitely tone it out by now. Yeah. I definitely tone it out by now.
All right. Well, hey, I was trying to see if there's a connection there, but maybe not, huh?
Nah, I have a very broad range of music. Like I like from lo-fi hip hop, from like soft rock to rap to rock.
I was wondering. I figured you were like an EDM guy, bro.
Nah, you know what? I definitely I don't mind it if it's on.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it. I don't care, especially in the right atmosphere. But growing up, I was really big into hip hop. Growing
Yeah.
up,
Hell yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. And then well, I like when I hear hip hop, I like that snare in the background just keeping steady. So I don't know, that just keeps me focused on it. Yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
Right.
Well, I guess we can keep talking about more fun questions. So I'll get the serious ones out the way. What direction do you want to take your company in the near future?
So my hope is that I'm able to continue to develop personally as an artist, as well as develop my apprentices. And the idea is that I would like to do bigger and better projects. I want to be known for a specific specialization rather than be a general artist. However, I'm at the moment very general artist, but it gives me a wide skill set. And I have to be this way because I'm a street artist, right? Like I take in walk-ins. So, and I take in the general public, which is fine. That's how you make money. But at a certain peak, if you're really good at what you do and really good at your skill set, then the idea is that people will seek you specifically for designs that they've been wanting to do that fit your skill set. So originally, when you're first getting into the business, you're trying to get as much as you can get. But after a certain threshold of your own personal development, then people, they all come to you, rather than you trying to get them in. They're trying to find you in your own specialty. So I'm just hoping I'm able to develop artistically to the point where I can be a very sought after artist for my specialization from more than just local.
Yeah.
I'm looking for people to fly in
All right.
across the United States or whatever. I've definitely had tattoos in other states, but it's kind of coincidental. Hey, I'm here on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get a tattoo.
It wasn't specifically just for you.
Yeah.
You want to
but
be like Kat Von D, like
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Just kind of like have that allure where people can justify paying for a plane ticket in a hotel just to be able to get a piece.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
So
Shoot.
I'm not there. I'm not quite there yet, and it definitely takes some practice and it definitely takes some know-how because a lot of people end up plateauing. I don't want to make multiple tattoo parlors, and I want my apprentices to have that same kind of feeling. And the idea is that once you hit that, you're good. You're good. You're so set up from that point on. We're talking $200 to $250 per hour. Just look at professions. How many professions do you know that make that much on average?
Not me.
If you're booked from 11 to when we close every day, and you're so sought after that you have to increase your demand to lower your workload, $200 to $250, $300 an hour, get out of here. That's
Hell yeah.
what do you that's doing what you enjoy doing. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, thousands a day,
That's
bro.
that's a no-brainer, dude.
I hope we both get there.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the hope and prayer, man. Just financial freedom. But with this will come only and if only the grind is there.
Yeah.
You can't it doesn't just happen. You can't just keep tattooing and expect yourself just to like be better one day. Like you gotta actively do your research, you gotta do your studies, you gotta study other master tattoo artists in your field. But it really you need to also be that like sponge. You have to be that dumb, you gotta be that dumb know nothing person. You have to embody that personality. You can't be that person where I know it all,
Yeah,
because then
exactly.
you're gonna be very like resilient to growth.
Yeah,
Like
and just make a bunch of mistakes and not learn from them.
yeah, so it's like when you first start any job, you're asking all these questions. You need to keep that the entire time.
Yeah.
You have to maintain that curiosity and constantly wanting to be more established from day one throughout the entire career, and that's going to get you where you want to be at. So that's where I'd like to head as a company. I don't want to open up other tattoo parlors. I want to have one tattoo parlor that's very well known, very successful, and I would like to then in the future look towards other avenues of revenue, from things such as like real estate or other opportunities that may present itself.
So
Definitely interested in that.
so maybe just like since you just want one studio, do you pretty much just want to upgrade it? You want to upgrade it maybe bigger, just maybe a better place or
Maybe,
better location.
maybe that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Well,
Like
we're in
maybe
time.
getting a couple more artists and getting into a bigger shop. I definitely wouldn't mind if the money's there.
Do you and your artists still collaborate, like not like on the tattoo, but like do you guys still like, hey, I did this tattoo today. I learned more about this.
All the time,
do you
especially because they're my apprentices. So the people who work in the parlor right now, I have two apprentices. These are practically two students,
yeah.
and I have one certified artist. However, there's definitely like a lot of room for improvement for everybody. But my one thing is it's going to help reaffirm what you know
Yeah.
if you share it with somebody else.
Exactly. Oh, okay. And then that too they can be like, "Oh, I got down on the shading. It's probably the best shading I've ever done. Do you think
Yeah.
there's any way I can get like better on that or that's dope,
Hmm.
bro." And when great minds come together, you get crazy results. So
Exactly.
so
Agreed.
I think that's awesome that that you're teaching, you're not just teaching, but like you're helping people further their
Hmm.
craft because
And sometimes they help me.
yeah,
Sometimes there's things that they do and like, oh, that's a good idea. Way to be innovative.
yeah,
Or maybe they'll share a perspective or idea of how to approach things. Like sometimes I'll like wrap my head around. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I don't know how to handle this challenge.
yeah.
And sometimes they'll present a solution for me. I was just like, oh, that's great.
Yo, hell yeah, thanks, bro. I'll get you lunch next time.
Right.
Hell yeah. How you said you wanted people to fly in and go, from out of state specifically to go get a tattoo.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll collab and I'll get a tattoo while we do the rerun on this.
Hey, for sure, dude. In the future, what I hope to do, especially since I stream on Twitch, and in the future, what I hope to do is to be able to tattoo at the art gallery for Twitch conventions.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick, dude. And I'm sure. I don't know about maybe anytime soon, just due to all the health issues.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna be a while.
but yeah, maybe eventually you're gonna do
Definitely
that.
not this year, but I think next year they'll reopen in San Diego, hopefully,
Was there
and
was
that's
there
where I would like
a
to go to.
certain streamer you would want to tattoo?
Really, no. Like, there's not somebody that I would care to tattoo over anybody else. Really, I would just want to meet everybody who's shown me just support and who have been in my chat on the regular and contributed to my growth. Those are the people I'd like to meet.
Um,
I don't really care about meeting like big streamers and
yeah, like
whatnot.
a
Big
ninja,
streamers.
like a ninja
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I don't really
Um,
care.
that's cool. I was gonna say because I remember after I invited you, I'd be like, man, it'd been sick to like you tattoo me and us do this podcast. You know, like I was like that would have been
You know,
insane.
that sounds like a good idea, but it'd be a disaster.
Yeah, I was gonna
And the
say.
reason why it'd be disaster, pain. You're gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to talk. After a while, you just can't.
All right. I was thinking more of the noise from the tattoo gun, but does that not interfere too much with the conversation?
No, not really. A lot. The tattoo machine that I use for most of the time is pretty silent.
All right. So pretty much, I guess go on a Friday the 13th, and I can go ahead and get a quick one out. We can just do a
Yeah.
quick sesh. All
Yeah.
right. That sounds good, bro. Um, and then you said you wanted to do a Twitch convention. Are there any other conventions that you've been to, like over here in Santa Cruz? Have you heard of? You've heard of Santa Cruz, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Here in Santa Cruz, they always have like some tattoo conventions. Here in Monterey,
Hmm.
they always have them. I'm assuming you've been to some.
Hmm.
I'm like
Yeah, I've been to a lot of tattoo conventions. I don't really care for them. I mean,
no.
I visit, but there's like 500 to 1,000 artists, and it's just like
Yeah,
I'm just another artist.
I've never been to one. Is it just people just tattooing like
Yeah,
outside?
it's a lot of tattooing, going on.
Are there awards or anything, or like are there any competitions there?
There are, but it's political.
Ah, okay, I see. I get that.
Yeah,
So
it's
pretty
political.
much you got to be like a big name around there or something.
Yeah, like, and it's really just a trophy that I could just. I mean, honestly, it's probably some rinky-dink trophy that
Yeah.
like
Right.
got from Things to Remembered or something like that, and it's from a convention that doesn't mean anything. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, here's a trophy. Good job.
Maybe they use that to charge their rates a little more. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people it has an aesthetic about it. They see a trophy and like, yeah, I'm an award-winning artist. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, your work does prove itself. But
yeah, yeah,
but these are
kind of like, yeah, they like my work or not.
these are things I'm always curious about. Like because I always there's conventions for everything nowadays.
I personally would prefer to tattoo at conventions that are unrelated to tattooing.
Ah, okay.
So like, I wouldn't mind tattooing at like an anime convention,
Yeah.
a Twitch convention, like a game convention. I would more welcome that. I would love to be able to do that.
You want to do more out of the box stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially there's not a lot of tattoo artists there, and it's going to be around things that I enjoy, gaming, Twitch, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those are
And-
cool. Or
well,
anime.
Yeah. Well.
Like everybody would want anime. You go to an anime convention, everybody's gonna want an anime tattoo.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and then
know?
you learn about like different designs too, like because of the anime characters, how they're drawn and
Mm-hmm.
how they're shaded. So that is pretty sick. And my niece loves anime. Everyone like around
Yeah.
here, there's a big anime audience, man. So I think
Yeah,
that'd
same.
be dope whenever you do that. I think it'll happen one day too, bro.
I agree. Thank you.
What's the worst customer that you have had?
Oh man. You know, we've had a couple rough ones. Um it's it's tough. Um I've had some customers where it's like not so difficult with their behavior or the conversation that takes place, but the difficulty really lies in their skin. Like, I'll have some clients that have very low pain thresholds, and it's very difficult to tattoo them, but they'll commit to a large project. That's what I find to be the most troublesome client. When it comes to actual like interaction and whatnot, I haven't had anybody so rowdy that, like, it's a poor interaction.
Yeah, no one's
Uh,
destroyed your shop or anything like that. Yeah.
Nah, once in a while somebody's gonna be upset, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, it's gonna happen when you're in business. And a lot of times, most of what they'll just want is a refund. Maybe they'll go out of their way and do a review, but honestly, if it's an unwarranted review, I'm gonna make an amendment to it. Like, I'm going to put in my 2 cents when it comes to it. Say, for example, like, I had one client whose husband was really drunk, and they were just very difficult to work with, and he booked for at one point in time to get a tattoo for 3 people. So he put a deposit down for it, and they did a no call, no show, and they were being just
paying.
very difficult with me after the fact, like about the deposit, and it was just like, okay, listen, we can like try to work something out. And then they did another call, no show, and it was just like, all right, at this point, you guys are like wasting my time because
Yeah.
I'm booking out time for you, and I could have booked somebody else. And it escalated to the point where they were just so unhappy they ended up putting like a Google review.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if it gets to that, then I'll put my 2 cents into it, and I'll explain the entire situation
Yeah, that's
as
fair.
what it was. They wanted a free tattoo, but at the end of the day, they wanted a
Yeah.
free tattoo. That's what it boiled down to. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not doing that. If you want, we can try to work something out that fits your budget. I'd happily do that and try to work with you. But they're like, nah,
Yeah.
we wanted it for free.
Yeah, and they're
Just
not
like,
gonna be happy anyways if you give them a small tattoo. They're gonna be like, "What's
Yeah.
this? You know, you're ripping me off. It's not what I wanted." And
yeah, or once in a blue moon, we'll have a client where if we don't respond to them quick enough, then maybe they'll go to another
another shop.
tattoo shop,
Yeah,
and
that-
it is what it is.
That
at
can
that
make
point.
sense. And it sounds like it probably turned out for the better that you didn't even end up tattooing them anyways, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that the whole time they're getting tattooed is gonna be unpleasant.
Yeah.
So
A lot of times, if a person is impatient, or if they like if they don't want to work with you for whatever reason, like it's probably better off.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I was gonna say I didn't even know you could get a refund on a tattoo. I figured like
Yeah.
once all that time is spent and once it's on you, like that's it. Like
Yeah.
you can't take the
Thing.
tattoo back.
Yeah, sometimes it's just worth like just refunding them and just cutting the ties with the person. Like, we don't owe you anything. Here we paid you back on maybe go get a cover up or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Whatever the hell
Just get out of my
you-
life and go
Yeah,
book
just
someone
kind of like
else.
bygones be bygones. But that happens like once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
Once in a blue moon.
yeah. Well, the question I asked too is like just a like a once in a lifetime question too. I'm sure you
Yeah.
don't get people all the time like that. So it's just
Yeah, that was probably my most difficult. We'll have some very like weird people who come by that are just like really tilt some heads. Very, very strange requests.
yeah.
But as far as like troublesome, it's just a poor review here. There's somebody asking for their refund, and it happens like once in a while. I just had somebody who called me who was like, hey, nobody responded to me. Nobody contacted me after the quarantine. But I made sure that I contacted everybody, and I even like posted up publicly several times, hey, if I didn't reach out to you, I'm doing reach outs. Like,
Yeah, you're trying
reach
your
out
best.
to me.
Yeah.
If I haven't gotten to you, and because I'm pretty sure I gotten it back to everybody, and they'll say, yo, you didn't reach out to me. I'm like, all right, well, what would you like to do? Like, well, I've already found another artist. Could I get my refund? I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm not gonna be upset.
So you're I'm assuming you're booked for here on end, right? For all the people that were
I'm booked
originally-
until December at the moment. So I have a client, at least 1 to 2 clients every day, besides my days off, up until December.
All right. Well, everyone, listening, you're gonna have to wait till maybe after December. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll be able to do a walk-in one day if someone cancels or something. But
Sometimes that happens. Yep.
I guess this is a good point to get close to wrapping it up. I'm gonna go ahead and let the people that are watching ask any question they want. Make it a good one. This is well, you can always talk to Mike Lam on his stream. Now he's gone.
Whoa. I'm
But,
still here.
He's still here.
I'm still here audio wise. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we
So
go.
it's okay. So you could always go to his stream and talk to him, but for my audience, this is your chance to talk to him. He's having technical issues, so I think it's a perfect time to have a 45-second break. Let's go. Think of any question you want, guys.
1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Public service announcement for all the people out there listening to this funky ass boom bap album. Check it out.
All right, man, we're back. So
What up?
It doesn't look like anyone asked any questions. It happens sometimes. I have a backup plan. I think probably because since this stream ended, the people some people didn't join again. But whatever it is,
That's no worries.
yeah, whatever it is, the backup plan is. Do you have a question for me?
I felt like we discussed a lot.
All right, yeah, I feel like
Felt like we learned a lot from each other. I feel like
Yeah.
there wouldn't be anything like somebody could even ask me that you haven't covered. I felt like you covered everything and just through rapport.
All right,
we
well,
got it
hey,
pretty good.
that makes me feel good too, man. Because I guess I'm doing a good
That
job.
was wholesome. Yeah, that was wholesome.
So one more task, and then I'll let you go ahead and drop any social media, your Twitch channel, all that they could follow you on. But you up for a 30-second this or that questions? Try to answer.
Yeah, sure.
That way, they're gonna be a little more gamer related, because I knew
Okay.
we weren't gonna talk about video games too much.
yeah, let's do it.
All right, in 5 seconds. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Colored or black and white tattoos?
Black and white.
A sleeve or a single big tattoo?
Sleeves.
Xbox Series X or PS5?
PC.
Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Nvidia or AMD?
Nvidia.
Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Mortal Kombat.
Single player game or multiplayer game?
Multiplayer.
Mario or Luigi?
Mario.
All right, that was it. You answered 8 questions, bro.
I
And
appreciate it.
that's about average of what everyone gets. The highest is 13 answered in 30 seconds. So
Oh, you actually do like a timed thing.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you didn't make the top 3. Actually, I have a little board right here.
Hey.
Top,
Hey, it's okay.
top 3 rankings. Yeah, it happens, man.
Nice.
Oh, I was thinking about asking you this earlier, and I completely forgot about it. Have you seen The King of Staten Island?
The King of Staten Island, is that a movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's about a tattoo artist whose father was a fireman.
Oh, that's cool. No,
Um,
I didn't even hear about it.
And I think it's
Is this
about in
on?
Jersey.
Where's this at?
It just got released a couple months ago. It has
Oh, no.
I don't remember that guy's name. The guy that dated Ariana Grande. Nah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's an alright movie, man. It's not too bad. I assumed
Is it
you
in the
would've
movie
watched
theater?
it. It was like 2 months ago. I don't know if it still is or
Yeah, see, the thing is, everything's been closed. So, like,
it's on Redbox now, actually. If you
I
you're
see,
on
I see, I
Reddit.
see. I haven't been in Redbox in so long.
Maybe.
I don't even have any ways to like play CDs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
I got
true.
nothing that plays a CD.
My original PC had a disc tray, but not anymore.
Yeah, not this one.
Maybe
It's
you
rough.
could stream it. I don't know. I assumed you would have watched it because it's about Jersey and it's about a guy doing tattoos. So,
Yeah, I'll check it out. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'm definitely gonna have to look into it.
all right, man. Well, now's the time for you to go ahead and drop your social. Anywhere people want to find you, and then you can.
So it's Minix on everything. MINHINKS. Any social media platform besides Facebook. But Facebook is geared more towards local. And if you're interested in that, any of the other social medias all leads to the same place. Myself.
And then
And that's about it.
is that also for Twitch?
Yeah. I'm Minix
Okay.
on Twitch as well.
All
I
right.
do tattoo streams during the day. And if I'm off or during nighttime, if it's scheduled or a part of my schedule, I do like Fortnite streams.
All right. Well, there you guys go. Oh, where's your store located at, bro? That's an important
South
one.
Jersey.
South Jersey.
Over here in South Jersey, rural Lincoln, South Jersey.
You want to drop the address or
No,
downtown? All right.
no. If someone's interested, they're able to look
No,
up any of the social medias and they can contact me.
All right. So look up Royal Ink, South Jersey. Go get a tattoo, everyone. And
I really appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate you spending time on here. It was a little session. I'm sorry for
Absolutely,
the technical
dude.
difficulties.
Nah, it's okay.
I appreciate everyone that's watching this live. You guys are dope. Keep it up. And hopefully next time none of this happens anymore. I appreciate all your community watching you.
Thanks,
right now.
dude.
That's pretty crazy.
Much love.
I hope everyone has a good night. Tune in next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time into the Why Not Me podcast. We'll see who we have on there next. And have a good one. All right, so let's get this going. I'm going to go ahead and just hold you for one more minute. And then we'll get